The movie begins in a high-security federal prison in Colorado. An inmate named Ray Breslin is approached by another prisoner who warns him about a guy named Jax. According to the inmate, Jax is planning to start a fight with Ray. The next day, just as predicted, Jax attacks Ray with a shank. However, Ray quickly overpowers him and wins the fight. Due to the commotion, the prison guards intervene and place Ray in the secure housing unit, a high-security area reserved for the most dangerous inmates. Ray is locked in a tiny, windowless cell with only a toilet and a security camera watching his every move. The only possession he is allowed to keep is a Bible. Wasting no time, Ray begins devising an escape plan. He has already analyzed the layout of the prison and discovered that the high-security unit is located next to the fire garage. By eavesdropping on the guards' conversations, he learns their schedules and realizes that the isolation block is understaffed, which works to his advantage. Over several days, Ray observes the guards' routines and notices that they always step outside for a cigarette break, lasting exactly 7 minutes. Using this information, he determines the best time and method for his escape. Now, the only thing left is to figure out how to obtain the passcode to his high-security cell door. To do this, he carefully peels a thin layer of polyethylene from the chocolate milk packaging that comes with his meals. When escorted for a walk, he discreetly places the plastic sheet over the keypad. Later, by examining the fingerprints left behind by the guard, he is able to deduce the numbers used in the passcode. With the possible digits in hand, cracking the sequence becomes much easier. Meanwhile, Ray finds a way to secretly communicate with his team outside the prison. In a letter, he embeds an encrypted message instructing them to create a distraction at exactly 4 p.m. on the day of his escape. He also prepares balls of toilet paper soaked in liquid soap for his plan. Finally, the day arrives. Returning from his walk, Ray discreetly jams the door lock with the sticky toilet paper, preventing it from fully locking.
Hey, fruitcake. Let's go.
Once the guards step out for their cigarette break, he enters the correct passcode and escapes his cell. Moving quickly, he crawls through a vent that leads to the unguarded fire garage. There, he puts on a firefighter uniform. At that moment, his team initiates the distraction by blowing up a car outside the prison. As the fire brigade rushes to the scene, Ray slips out by latching himself onto the underside of the fire truck. Once outside, he calmly climbs into a getaway car driven by his teammates, Abigail and Hush, his closest allies. They drive him a short distance away from the prison and drop him off near a telephone booth. Still wearing his prison robe, Ray boldly approaches the booth. A passing police car spots him, and soon, more officers arrive, surrounding him at gunpoint. However, he manages to make a call and relay a secret code.
Showtime.
Shortly after, a man named Lester Clark arrives on the scene. He speaks with the officers and presents them with some official documents. After reviewing them, the police release Ray. Ray and Lester wait in the prison warden's office, anticipating his reaction. When the warden arrives, he immediately starts scolding them.
What the hell is going on here?
I'm down, Warden.
That's when Lester reveals the truth. Ray is not a criminal, but the co-founder of a security firm called Breslin Clark, which specializes in testing prison security.
We're an independent security company hired by the Federal Bureau of Prisons to test the integrity of their maximum security facilities nationwide.
His job is to infiltrate prisons under a false identity to determine whether they are truly escape-proof. Over the years, Ray has built a reputation as the man who can escape from any prison. Eager to understand how he pulled it off, the warden presses for details. Ray confidently explains that after discovering the isolation block was located near the unsecured fire garage, he deliberately made enemies to get himself thrown into solitary confinement. The rest of the escape plan you already saw. Stunned by Ray's intelligence, the warden asks one final question before dismissing them.
What kind of man would choose to spend most of his life in prison?
Some people have a talent to paint, some to sing. Me, I sing. Ray Breslin, he possesses a unique set of skills. He is able to break out of any prison designed by man.
After the meeting, Ray returns to his office for the first time in 5 months. Waiting for him is a puzzle, a custom-made 3D riddle designed by Hush, something he's been working on for months. However, Ray effortlessly solves it in just a few seconds, leaving Hush impressed and slightly frustrated. Meanwhile, his business partner, Lester, has arranged a meeting with CIA lawyer Jessica Miller.
Central Intelligence Agency.
You a spy?
Worse, I'm a lawyer.
She had read Ray's book on vulnerabilities in prison security and was deeply impressed by his expertise. Jessica wants him to test a new, top-secret prison, one designed to hold criminals so dangerous that no government wants them on record. The prison is privately owned, and its true location must remain undisclosed.
What she's really saying is that none of this is officially sanctioned by anyone.
So if anything goes wrong, nothing comes back to bite you people in the ass.
Whoa, this is not your concern.
Hey, I owe him. I don't owe you.
Ray's team team is immediately against the idea, calling it far too dangerous. But then Lester drops a bombshell. Jessica is offering millions of dollars for the job. Despite the staggering amount, Ray remains skeptical. However, Jessica insists that the inmates inside this prison are not just criminals, but monsters who should never be allowed back into the real world. Her words make Ray reconsider, and against his friend's concerns, he accepts the deal. Jessica provides Ray with a fake identity. He will enter the prison as Anthony Portos, a Spanish terrorist for hire. His only point of contact on the inside will be the warden, Roger Marsh. If anything goes wrong, Ray is to give him an evacuation code to signal extraction.
Evacuation code
310275.
On the day of his infiltration, Hush follows protocol and implants a tracker in Ray's arm to ensure they can monitor his location. However, things take a dark turn when a van suddenly pulls up and a group of masked men kidnaps him. They immediately locate the tracker and cut it out, rendering him untraceable. Before Ray can react, they inject him with a heavy sedative, ensuring he remains unconscious so the prison's location stays a secret. At some point during the transport, Ray briefly regains consciousness. He finds himself inside a helicopter. He sees one of the guards stab another prisoner and throw his body out of the helicopter. Before Ray can process what's happening, the guards notice him awake and immediately inject him with another dose of sedatives. Ray eventually wakes up inside the prison. He finds himself in a glass cell, elevated on a platform. Around him, several other inmates are held in similar transparent cells. The entire prison is under strict surveillance. Guards in masks and rifles patrol the area, while moving cameras track every prisoner's actions. Soon, Ray is escorted to meet the prison warden, Hobbs, who introduces himself. Confused, Ray questions this.
with Warden Marsh.
There is no Warden Marsh.
As he was told the warden's name was Roger Marsh. His unease deepens as he recounts how he saw a guard kill a prisoner on the helicopter. Hobbs, visibly displeased by the news, dismisses him and prepares to leave. Desperate, Ray stops him and cites the evacuation code, which should guarantee his release in case of an emergency. However, Hobbs mocks him,
Meaning you give me a number and you walk out of here free as a bird?
and coldly declares him just another inmate. Meanwhile, Abigail and Hush are working tirelessly to track down Ray's location, but their search proves difficult. Back in the prison, the inmates are ordered to proceed to the Babylon area, which serves as the prison yard. Ray, however, stays shocked in his cell. As the warden addresses him by the name Portos, a nearby inmate takes notice, seemingly recognizing the name. On his way to the yard, Ray witnesses guards brutally beating prisoners, realizing that these guards have absolute authority to do whatever they want to break the inmates' spirits. A while later, a group of massive, bulky men approach Ray, clearly eager to throw a welcome party for the newcomer. But Ray politely refuses, breaking the fingers of one of them. Before the situation escalates, the inmate who previously overheard his name steps in, bringing his own crew. His name is Emil Rotmeyer. Emil attempts to befriend Ray, but Ray isn't interested in small talk.
Portos, your name, the fourth musketeer.
Emil insists, revealing that he used to work security for a man named Mannheim.
He's a genius.
Really?
He has this habit of taking money from the rich and giving it to the poor. You've heard that story before.
I've heard that story, yeah.
However, Ray remains distant, showing no interest in chatting with strangers. Meanwhile, in his office, Warden Hobbs scolds his officer for killing the prisoner in the helicopter. To the officer's shock, Hobbs informs him that the cost of the prisoner will be deducted from his salary.
The entire price of the asset equals a month of my pay.
Then you're lucky the man you killed was not high value.
A chilling reminder that this prison operates like a business. Back inside the prison, Ray begins studying the guards and the facility, searching for weaknesses. Emil continues trying to earn his trust,
Portos,
persistently asking what Ray is observing. He even offers to help if needed.
need a favor?
The favor man.
Ray starts piecing things together. This isn't a normal prison for federal criminals. Instead, it's a secret torture facility where the wealthy send their enemies to disappear. Determined to learn more, Ray plans to investigate the isolation area. To do this, he needs to get himself thrown into solitary confinement. He turns to Emil for help. Emil, eager to assist, punches Ray in the face.
That's a favor? Sometimes favors hurt.
The two begin a WWE-style fight, drawing the attention of the entire prison. Watching through the security cameras, Warden Hobbs is visibly entertained by the brawl, almost amused at the spectacle. Soon, Ray and Emil are sent to the isolation area, a tiny room that serves as both a cell and a torture chamber. The room functions like an oven, with temperatures far beyond what a human can endure. High-powered halogen lights down on them, designed to disorient and dehydrate prisoners. In my country, we call it a sauna. Meanwhile, Warden Hobbs watches their suffering through the security cameras. After an entire day in the chamber, a prison doctor visits Ray. Ray appeals to his humanity, asking him about the prison's location. He notices how the doctor hesitates, clearly unsure of how to respond. Before he can say anything, the prison officer rushes him, demanding to know what Ray asked. Nervous, the doctor lies, saying they were only discussing dehydration. However, Ray overhears this exchange and realizes that the doctor might be the key to his escape. Meanwhile, Abigail and Hush confront Lester, demanding to know Ray's location. They insist that he talk to Jessica about it. Initially, Lester refuses, reminding them that everything is going according to contract and they should trust the process. But Hush isn't having it. He threatens Lester, forcing him to reconsider. Under pressure, Lester finally promises to call Jessica. Back in prison, after being released from solitary confinement, Ray shares his latest discovery with Emil. He noticed that the chamber floors are riveted with steel instead of the more secure aluminum.
This place is subterranean. There's moisture in the air. Steel rusts over time.
This means that if he can remove the rivets, he might find a way out. To do this, Ray asks Emil to acquire a metal plate that he can use to pry the rivets open. Emil immediately sets his plan into motion. He tells the guards he is ready to talk to the warden about his boss, Mannheim. During the meeting, the warden once again presses Emil for details about Mannheim's whereabouts.
You know, to many people, he's a hero.
Instead of answering directly, Emil deliberately mocks him, drawing a beautifully detailed map of Mannheim's location. Enraged, Hobbs orders his men to torture Emil.
In here, you have no control over any part of your life except your breathing. You just lost that privilege. Get him down.
The guards shove a water hose down his throat. After the torture, Emil manages to steal a drain cover, skillfully slipping it out of place without the guards noticing. After the meeting, Emil hands Ray the drain cover and demands to know his plan in exchange for the favor. Ray finally opens up, revealing everything about his job.
We applied direct concentrated heat to those rivets. They'll expand and snap right up.
What the lamps in the box.
Right. At 100 degrees centigrade, steel expands 0.03 cubic centimeter, and those rivets are going to come right off.
To achieve this, he polishes the drain cover using toothpaste, making it reflective enough to direct the heat precisely. He explains that he has been analyzing the prison's structure and has come to a chilling realization. The warden used Ray's own reports from his book to make this facility unbreakable. Based on his observations, Ray believes the prison is underground, possibly built inside a large natural fissure or cave.
You don't look that smart.
You don't either.
Ray only asks for one thing, a distraction at the right moment. Emil agrees and puts the plan into motion. Ray clutches a piece of bread in his hand, while Emil approaches a Muslim inmate named Javed and starts insulting his mother in the filthiest way possible. Predictably, a massive brawl erupts. As the fight escalates, guards rush in to restrain the prisoners and send them all to the isolation chamber. Once inside, Ray immediately begins heating the rivets, carefully positioning himself out of the camera's view. When he's done, he bangs on the chamber walls, signaling Emil to start the next phase of the plan. Emil begins screaming hysterically, drawing everyone's attention to him. Seizing the moment, Ray blocks his cell's security camera with the piece of bread, ensuring he can move unnoticed, and slips into the vent system, making his way outside.
Hey, I got a camera malfunction, box 2.
However, as he moves through the cramped space, he accidentally breaks a valve, causing a massive flood. Meanwhile, the warden approaches Emil trying to find out what he's up to. Emil starts speaking foreign language.
Du bist der Böse! Du bist der Teufel!
Wow, I didn't know Schwarzenegger could speak Russian. When Ray finally emerges outside, he is shocked by what he sees. The prison isn't underground at all. It's inside a massive cargo ship, floating in the middle of the ocean. Realizing the sheer scale of the deception, Ray quickly retreats back inside before anyone spots him. The water leak from the broken valve spreads throughout the isolation chambers, distracting the guards and making it easier for Ray to sneak back without being caught. Meanwhile, in the city, Abigail and Hush press Lester for answers. They demand to know if he actually spoke to Jessica. Lester reassures them that he did, and insists that everything is going according to plan. However, Abigail remains suspicious. She points out that Ray's paycheck for the job has been put on hold, making the situation even more concerning.
Right, it's very common in a $2.5 million transaction.
No. Common would be a week, maybe 10 days. This has been way longer than that.
Jesus, Abby. It's the federal government. You know how they work.
Back in the prison, Warden Hobbs and the officer inspect the flood damage. While surveying the area, they notice several rivets missing from their original positions. Hobbs immediately finds this suspicious, realizing that someone has been tampering with the facility. Lester calls Warden Hobbs and reveals everything about Ray.
Portos is in his name, is it? Why wasn't I alerted?
It's Ray Breslin, the great Ray Breslin.
There's a lot of people paying money to make sure that facility is unbreakable.
But instead of arranging for Ray's removal, he orders the warden to ensure that Ray stays there forever. It turns out Lester has his own agenda. He is the CEO of this illegal prison, hired by investors due to the reputation of his and Ray's company. He is the one searching for Mannheim, lured by a massive reward from the world's biggest bankers, because Mannheim developed a program that could threaten the global financial system.
developed a
program to turn the entire world banking system into f***ing confetti.
Eager to get what he wants, Lester pressures Hobbs to speed up Emil Rottmeier's interrogation.
Well, it just so happens that since Breslin has gotten closer
To Rottmeier has developed a new edge to his defiance that wasn't there before. I think Breslin's to blame.
Then break Breslin.
Meanwhile, the warden begins breaking Ray down through relentless sleep deprivation and brutal beatings.
Get on your feet!
Emil tries to keep Ray motivated, encouraging him to stay focused, but Ray's condition worsens day by day. While tending to Ray's wounds, the doctor starts feeling guilty about the suffering he witnesses. Hoping to lift Ray's spirits, Emil asks about his past. Ray hesitates, but eventually opens up. He reveals that he was once a lawyer and prosecutor. One day, a man he successfully put behind bars vowed revenge. That man escaped from prison and murdered Ray's wife and son. Since then, Ray has dedicated his life to making prisons unbreakable, ensuring that criminals can never escape again. Hearing this, Emil reminds Ray that now he has a reason to get out, not just to survive, but to punish the people who set him up. Meanwhile, Abigail and Hush refuse to give up. Hush digs deeper and uncovers an illegal privately owned prison called The Tomb, a secret facility where the wealthy dispose of their enemies. This is the very prison Ray is trapped in. But despite their efforts, Hush is unable to locate its exact whereabouts.
Totally illegal. Run by ex-military assholes and Blackwater rejects. You know, bad dude.
Back in the prison, Ray and Emil shift their focus to the guards. All the guards wear identical masks, making it difficult to track their movements. But Ray has studied their behavior closely and started to notice patterns.
See that guy coming down the stairs? Now you see how he walks all pigeon-toed?
The duck.
Yeah, well, the duck always works with the guy scratching the back of his neck.
Hives.
To keep track of them, they give each guard a nickname based on their habits and physical traits.
That guard over there could be a problem for us. He's always looking around.
The chicken man.
Chicken man, right. My guess Chicky's new here. Does everything by the book. The guard down there at the bottom, the heavyset guy, he doesn't move much. My guess is he's been here a while and only does what he has to do.
Louisa.
Louisa?
His fat ass reminds me of my first girlfriend.
Nice. But around this time, your girlfriend, Louisa, starts looking at her watch. My guess it's lunchtime.
Now, they need the doctor's cooperation. To buy Ray more time to talk to the doctor, Emil stabs Ray in the thigh. As the doctor stitches him up, Ray appeals to his humanity, reminding him of the Hippocratic Oath.
I'll protect my patients from harm and injustice.
He desperately tries to convince the doctor to reveal their location, but the doctor is too afraid to speak. Moreover, he isn't sure Ray is one of the good guys in this place. However, during the conversation, Ray secretly swipes some clotting powder and some other stuff from a doctor's table. Ray devises another plan to determine their location. He and Emil take a pair of glasses away from another inmate, and Ray constructs a makeshift sextant using cardboard, a pen, and the lenses. With this device, they can calculate the ship's latitude. However, for the sextant to work, they must reach the top deck to see stars. Meanwhile, Warden Hobbs orders Ray to be brought to his office. He informs Ray that he is being transferred to another block to prevent him from communicating with Emil. Thinking quickly, Ray tries to bargain for his freedom, offering information about Emil's boss Mannheim in exchange. He claims that Emil trusts him, and that, given enough time, he could extract Mannheim's location from him.
What you got to lose? Finding him has got to be worth a lot more than what you were paid for me, right, Hobbs? You'll never break Rottmeier. He'll die before he turns.
Intrigued, the warden agrees to the deal and allows Ray to remain in the same block as Emil, for now. Of course, this was all part of Ray's plan. Once back in the cell block, he tells Emil everything about his deal with the warden. To buy time, Emil starts feeding Ray false stories about Mannheim, which Ray then passes on to the warden.
I don't give a shit about 6 years ago. I want to know where he is now.
With their distraction in place, Ray and Emil seek help from Javed, the Muslim inmate. They need someone who can get access to the ship's deck, and Javed is their best option.
You're gonna die. You want to get out?
Later, Javed is brought to Warden Hobbs and pretends to offer his services as a spy. He claims he can provide information about Ray's escape plans. In exchange, he asks for permission to pray outside in the open air, per his religious customs. Unaware of Javed's true motives, the warden agrees and grants him access to the deck. Once outside, Javed quickly uses the sextant, calculating the ship's latitude. With this crucial information, Ray deduces that they are in the Atlantic Ocean near Morocco.
Water goes counterclockwise above the equator, so we're north. He brought a new fish in yesterday. He said it was November 20th. We got warm rain, warm air at sea, November. Now you're building a secret facility, so you're gonna want to stay away from the Caribbean and the Pacific, say east of the China Sea. If I was a bad man, I'd say we could be off the coast of Morocco.
They aren't entirely certain of their exact location.
It's just a guess.
Educated guess.
Emil then remembers he has a friend in Casablanca who owes him a huge favor. If they can somehow send a message to him, Emil is confident that his friend and his group will come to rescue them. To send that message, Ray comes up with another trick. He swallows the stolen clotting powder, faking symptoms of poisoning.
What is this? You swallowed clotting powder?
During the checkup, Ray reveals his real name, insisting that he isn't a criminal and was set up. He urges the doctor to search Warden Hobbs's office, claiming that his book is there as proof of his identity. That night, the doctor struggles with his conscience, drinking as he reflects on the Hippocratic Oath. Eventually, he sneaks into the warden's office and finds Ray's book, confirming that Ray was telling the truth all along. Realizing the injustice of the situation, the doctor immediately orders the guards to bring Ray to him. He asks how he can help. Ray tells him to send an email to Emil's contact in Casablanca. The day of the escape has finally arrived. Ray gives Warden Hobbs a fake location for Mannheim.
See, ratting out your friends ain't so hard.
Successfully misleading him. At the same time, Javed approaches the warden with more false intel, claiming that a riot will break out today, and that the guards should keep a close eye on Ray. Hobbs immediately begins watching Ray through the CCTV cameras. He spots Ray secretly sending a message in Morse code to instigate a riot in Block C. Falling for the trap, the warden orders all his guards to Block C, leaving only 2 guards in the Babylon area. Meanwhile, the doctor finally sends the email to Emil's contact in Casablanca, setting their backup plan in motion. Seeing the perfect opportunity, Javed provokes a fight in the Babylon area, starting the riot. As guards scramble to control the situation, Ray, Emil, and Javed seize the moment and make a run for the top deck. However, Hobbs quickly notices their escape and orders an immediate lockdown of the cargo hold. Before the 3 can reach the top, the security doors slam shut, blocking their path. At the same time, Emil's rescue team arrives in helicopters hovering over the ship, ready to extract them. Inside the prison, guards engage in a shootout with the escapees. During the process, Javed is shot and unable to move. Ray quickly comes up with a plan. He must shut down the ship's power system to unlock all doors, giving them a way out. He orders Emil to get to the deck and board the helicopter, promising that he'll find his own way out. Emil hesitates, unwilling to leave Javed behind, but Javed insists, asking to leave him with guns. He'll buy them some time. Reluctantly, Emil hands him 2 pistols before rushing to the deck. Moments later, guards close in on Javed, but before they can kill him, he takes down several of them in a final stand. Meanwhile, on his way to the control room, Ray runs into the prison officer. A brutal fight ensues. After an intense struggle, Ray finally kills the officer by sending him tumbling down the stairs. Wasting no time, Ray reaches the control center and shuts down the power system, unlocking all doors. With the hatch now open, Emil makes it to the deck, sprinting under heavy gunfire toward the helicopter. He detaches a machine gun and goes full Arnold Schwarzenegger mode, mowing down enemies like the Terminator. He orders his team to wait for Ray, but realizes they won't last much longer. Forced to take off, they hover around the ship, hoping Ray can still make it. Meanwhile, Ray hides inside a water flushing tank as Hobbs searches the area nearby. The warden orders his men to turn the power back on. When they do, the fuel conversion system automatically fills the flushing tank with water, and before anyone realizes it, Ray is forcefully flushed out into the ocean. Hobbs notices what has happened and rushes outside. Emil spots Ray struggling in the water. Acting fast, he lowers the helicopter's ladder and Ray latches onto it. Meanwhile, Warden Hobbs isn't done yet. He opens fire on them, wounding Emil and nearly shooting down the ladder. Ray takes aim at the oil tanks on the deck and fires. The shot ignites a massive explosion, engulfing the warden and his men in a fiery blast. The helicopter flies toward the Moroccan coast. As soon as they step onto solid ground, a car arrives to pick them up. To Ray's shock, Jessica, the woman who hired him for the job, steps out of the vehicle. But what baffles him even more is when Emil casually introduces her as his daughter. It is then revealed that Emil is actually Mannheim, the very man everyone believed to be his boss. He had lied about his identity to protect himself from his enemies, ensuring no one would come after him. Jessica, knowing her father was imprisoned in the tomb, orchestrated Ray's incarceration to get him inside and break her father out. Even the alias Portos was a coded message meant for her father. Before parting ways, Jessica delivers one final piece of information.
How much did Les really know?
Only what I told him at first, but the next thing I know, he's gone around me and offered his services to the backers of the tomb.
In the next scene, Ray reunites with Abigail. She reveals that Lester was promised the CEO position of the prison, but only if the prototype facility proved inescapable. But now that Ray has escaped, Lester panics and begins packing his bags, preparing to flee. However, Hush and Abigail track him down, ready to enact their revenge. But before he can leave, Hush suddenly attacks him, knocking him unconscious right in the driver's seat. Sometime later, Lester wakes up. As he comes to his senses, he realizes he's still inside the vehicle, his car inside a shipping container, and that container is locked up tight, sealed aboard a massive cargo ship, heading to an unknown destination. Trapped with no escape, Lester now faces the same fate he had planned for Ray. By the way, I know Schwarzenegger was speaking German. It was a troll thing.